Well, here I am again, and I wanted to discuss other things about living in the Philippines and uh, different places to live. Some places are nicer than others, uh, and some places, you can spend a lot for rent if you wanted to, but the basic everyday house here is usually between $200 or $300 a month. Utilities aren't bad. If you have Wi-Fi and aircon and everything, it's probably about $100 a month. But electric isn't bad, usually about $10 a week. And the groceries are actually pretty good, even though they're going up all over the world. Here you have a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables, and you have a lot of chicken and fish. There's a lot of fish here available. The supermarkets and the malls are just like USA or Canada, big malls. They have everything, and all sorts of U.S. made products, and you just have to remember about meeting a woman. Easy to fall in love with these sweet little Filipinas, but just keep them at arm's distance until you find out more about what they're really about. Because let's face it, if they're broke, they're going to do whatever they can to get you to help them out, and you have to find out if they're real or not. It's hard because they do mostly they don't make much money, so they kind of like see what they can get out of you because just whatever you do, do not spoil them with a lot of money. Don't even let them know exactly how much you have if you have a bank account in the U.S. and you're coming here on retirement. Just hold back some of it for an emergency, because if you get into a relationship and you need to get out, get on the plane and get gone. But if you really want to relax and enjoy yourself in the Philippines, there are a lot of wonderful places to visit, to stay, to live, and to enjoy. So many nice fruits and vegetables and fish and barbecues and all that kind of stuff here. It's a good life. I would say just the heat is a problem if you're not used to it. But there's no place, I've been all over the USA for years, and there's no other place that I would want to go except right here in the Philippines. Very, very inexpensive to live. You can't live this cheap anywhere unless you go to maybe Belize or Costa Rica or something like that, or Panama maybe. But there's no other place like this. As far as the people are great and the living is easy. So just be mindful of the scammers. There's a lot of scammers. And transportation, do yourself a favor. Do not buy a vehicle. If you have a small family and you want transportation, you might want a trike. If somebody in the family has license to operate a trike, which is just a motorcycle really with a sidecar, for inexpensive transportation, because they get like 100 miles to the gallon. But as far as the traffic goes, it's insane, and it's cheaper, just better off to have a trike come to the house and pick you up, and then go get on a jeepney if you want to travel like 50 or 60 miles somewhere. I would say the trike is only good for like 10 or 15 mile trip. But if you go shopping, there's all kind of trikes waiting out there to take you back home. And we have like Costco here, just like USA, when it's called SNR. But and we have Western Union, Dunkin' Donuts, all sorts of things like that from America. So really some good places to eat, some good food, and not really expensive actually. But I would say that you can live happily ever after here on not a lot of money. Some guys, I was talking to some people from up north, northern New England, before I left, and I told them that these guys said, well, I can only make $610 a month Social Security. Well, that's okay. Because if you come here, if you just want to rent a room in a boarding house or something, you can rent a room for $50 a month. Then if you pay your electric and your other things that you want, your Wi-Fi and aircon, you're only looking at spending maybe $300 a month, or even $400. So you're going to have a couple $100 left over. No problem. So I would say, yeah, you don't need $2,000 or $3,000 a month. If you have that much money, do yourself a favor and leave half of it in the USA. And I know a lot of guys that get Teamster pensions and Social Security, and they're making like $1,000 a week. Well, I would suggest that you leave half of it in a bank in the USA. If you get married here, then you may want to make your wife beneficiary. That's fine. But if you give them too much money, you're going to spoil them, and they're going to get used to that, and they might just take off on you. You buy a house, and before you know it, you're out in the street, because you can't own anything here. You can't own land here. You can own the building, but what good is the building sitting on somebody else's land? So, but if you're determined to help them, if you get married and have a good marriage, and you want to help them buy a home, that's different. That's no problemo, because you have to live somewhere, and you have to have a caregiver if you're old like I am. So I'll kill two birds with one stone. I have a nice wife that's my caregiver, and she's a great cook, and we get along fine. So I can't give her too much trouble because she'll probably beat me up. But anyway, she's good and she's honest. And but if you have a woman that says, "Hey," when you meet them, "Oh, let's go out and get a few drinks," and all that, no, you don't want that in your life at all. There are so many, millions of women here, believe it or not. So they're not all in one place, of course, but you scout around. There are Filipino dating sites, but I would suggest that you really do some vetting. Check into their backgrounds and feel them out, see what they do. And, oh yeah, they're all easy to fall in love with, trust me. But it depends on what you want. If you don't want to get married and you want to fool around with the bar girls, that's your business. But I would say if you want to come here and enjoy the rest of your life, really enjoy life here as a retired person, remember what I said, you don't need a lot of money here. If you make if you get a pension of like $1,500 a month, and then you have another pension on top of that from the city or municipality or something like that, do yourself a favor and leave half of it in wherever you are. But you can live here, live with a family for really good, for maybe $1,200 a month. If you're living by yourself, $600 is fine. Live good. But don't forget, if you're old and you need a caregiver, you are better off to be married and pay for a caregiver. But let your wife have the money, and she doesn't have to work. She'll take care of you and cook and clean house and all of that. So I'm not going to work anymore because I've been retired for 20 years. So I do have a nice family now. Never had a grandchild, but I have one now, a little 8-month-old boy. And so it really is inexpensive. Now with this COVID thing going on, the pandemic, it's been hard because mostly for the last year and a half we've had to stay home. And I can tell you this, at 60 years old or older, this government does not want you running around loose out there. They want you to have an escort, okay? So either your wife or your best friend or somebody. They don't want you running around out loose because it's too dangerous for you to get sick and too dangerous for you to get attacked, okay? Because they see foreigners, they say, "Oh yeah, that guy's got money," whack you in the head and take your money. And you don't need to carry a lot of money on you. And above all, do not flash anything. Don't come over here with gold chains wrapped around your neck and all kind of rings and jewelry and watches. Do not do that. That's just looking for trouble. I don't show anything what I have. I don't even wear a watch. I don't wear any jewelry at all. So I would suggest that. If you want to stop in, there's plenty of places to eat besides Burger King and Jollibee's and KFC chicken, and there's just all kind of places. And they all have aircon. You go and sit down, and they have Wi-Fi connections. So if you got a phone or a tablet, you can go in there and sit down and communicate with the world and have a meal and just enjoy yourself. There's no big deal. They're all yes sir, no sir. They're very kind people. They're not rude. And so I would suggest that if you are a retired man, depending on the type of women, you may like Latino women. Well, there are some here also, but if you want to do that, then you have to go to a crazy country like Guatemala or somewhere where there's a lot of drug lords and all that stuff going on. You don't really have that big problem here because they're mostly the working class people. Even though the economy isn't that great here, it's getting better. But they're all working class people, and they like a simple life. They're not extravagant at all. People have cars and all of that. I'm not saying that everybody's like that, but there are middle class people here, and they have nice vehicles. I mean, you can buy any kind of SUV you want: Mitsubishi, Toyota, Honda, Chevrolet, Ford, Hyundai, Kia, anything you want. Okay, but and motorcycle, all kind of motorcycles. So, but I would say that unless you want one for your family, something for your family, that's different. But don't forget, if you have a vehicle, then you have to maintain that, and you have to insure it, and you have to be worried about if it crashes for insurance and all that. So really, as a retired person, you should look to just scale back and chill out and enjoy a family if you're looking to get married, and don't go overboard on anything. Clothing is very reasonable here. You don't have to buy any winter coats or big work boots or any of that stuff, or gloves. You don't need that stuff at all. So I would suggest that I could tell you about other things as far as what goes on here. I mean, yeah, there are nightclubs and all of that. If you're that type of guy that wants to go play pool and fool around, well, then you're looking at the other side of society, you know what I'm saying? Probably not your first big day if you're retired, but if you really want to enjoy life, this is a simple place to be. So, God bless you, and I'll make another vlog again, but I think I've covered just about everything. As far as the food and the people, just use your head when you come here. Think about things first. Don't just jump in and say, wow, yeah, I'm going to meet a nice little Filipino lady, 25 years old. Yeah, forget that. She'll clean out your wallet, and then you'll buy her a house, and then she'll send you down the road. So don't be in a hurry. There are plenty of beautiful women here. And you'll meet one, maybe in their late 30s or something. Maybe they may not have a kid, or they might have one kid. But if you marry a young woman here that has 3 or 4 kids, you're looking for trouble. You're looking to go back on the plane to America naked. So, okay, God bless you. Take care of yourself. Get in touch if you want to meet a woman.